Right, Davey, we're going to take a trip down memory lane. The highs, the lows, the great days, the ones that got away, the ones the rides you'd like to have again, or the rides you'd like to have again. And I know you're retired now, but we're in a cinema environment, so try and stay awake if you can. And yeah, we'll kick off.
People don't understand these are 3 mile chasers, but we are going very quick. Like, you go from 0 to 60 very, very fast in a Gold Cup, because you know you have a number of very good horses that are well able to travel early in a race, and they're all capable of getting their position. Whereas, look, I was happy and I was relaxed, and I jumped the first 2 well, and I didn't really mind about my position once he was happy, and I wasn't 7 or 8 or 9 lengths off the horse in front. But as the race progressed, he kind of got lazier and lazier. But I was happier that he was running lazy. Even there, after the third fence, I sat down to give him a squeeze, just to keep him interested. But once he was interested, I was happy enough to stay where I was. But I needed him to jump in there again after that. I just had to sit down and squeeze him up into sit on Tony McCoy's tail.
You're still a fair way out of your ground.
I am, but
you're happy?
I'm happy, and we're going really fast. There's different parts of the race course. You do want to make ground and you don't, but like from a long way out, I was seeing really good strides. And there again, I just kind of squeeze him back up into the bridle just to keep him interested. And he's pricking his ears, and he's galloping within himself. So I'm happy enough he's not overdoing it, which is very important,
And I always felt that Cheltenham was one of the tracks you rode the best.
Yeah, well, you're 95% of the time you're guaranteed a good fast gallop, and you can find your position that you're happy in. So, a lot of the race courses or a lot of the races during the year, they can be tactical races. But when you come to Cheltenham, it's, you get a true running of the race. And once your horse is capable of travelling through the race, then that's all you're able to do, just sit there and ride that. But as you can see, like, he's very relaxed, but he's jumping. He's always jumping. And I knew on his own was always going to force the pace, because he had been doing so in Ireland. So I knew we were guaranteed to go quick the whole way,
Yeah, because it's strange, because he automatically looks to be travelling better.
Yeah,
now he's past his first horse and he's travelling better.
Yeah, and you must remember, as far out of the race I was, Giant Bolster was never too far away from me. And he was like, for as good a ride as I gave my lad, Tom Scudamore gave his fella an equally good ride, Now I'm pushing, because I don't want to, I can't give away any more ground. I can't leave him go any further behind, so I have to keep him in the race from here on in. Now I know he's going to stay really well, and I know he enjoys the track, but again, I want to tuck in behind. I don't want to give away too much ground, and if there's a gap opens up on the inside, that's a bonus as well. But
are you confident here, or?
I'm very confident that I'm going to be placed.
Obviously, the good horses like Bosworth on the outside here.
Yeah, I thought at this stage that they were going to go ahead and win it, and I was going to run a really good race and be placed.
Because you've got Silviano Conti there in the middle with Bosworth.
Yeah, Lyring,
Legend on the far side, and here you come.
Bobsworth, and here's me.
And is this the point now, or?
No, not yet. I'm still think I'm going to be placed, and not until I land at the back of the last there do I feel that I actually have a really good chance of winning this.
And are you conscious of the horses on the left or right, or do you know there's horses around you at this point?
Oh yeah, I know every horse, because obviously I had a good view of them all the way. I knew which horse was which, and my fella just pricked his ears for a stride or two, and then when I got back into him again, he ran again at the line, and I did feel like that. Even if he had to go out over the hill and around again, he would have stayed in front. He was just doing enough to stay in front.
And did you think you'd won?
I thought I was in front, yes, but you just don't know where the line is when you hit the line, because as I said, there's not a physical line there. It's just you're aiming for a point, and you just don't know where it is. So I did feel I had won, but I wasn't concentrating on the line. All I was concentrating on was keeping my fella going, and I didn't actually know where the line was.
And then the stewards' inquiry followed.
Yeah, I didn't get much of a chance to enjoy, or what I had imagined would be the walk down the chute and into the parade ring for a Gold
For
Cup.
the race you'd always wanted to win.
Yes, yeah, because it was always in the back of my mind that there was a lot went on during the race. There were horses everywhere, and the margin was so small.
And you didn't, because you did get close, but how nervous were you going to lose the race? Because you went back into the weighing room and you were watching on TV, didn't you? That's how you found out that you'd held on to the race.
Yeah, so we went into the Stewart's inquiry and they gave the result outside. I didn't hear the result, but we were in a little room watching outside. I was watching the crowd outside, just staring into the distance, and I saw Jim Cullerty jumping around, and then I knew it, but he wasn't jumping around.
For nothing, because he'd been chucked out, yeah.
And Dr. Lamb, he was a very important person to me at that time, because there was Lord Windermere, there was a connection with Dermot Weld, there was the opportunity to ride in the big races, and no matter what sport or industry you're in, you need to be on the big stage, and to get the opportunity to ride them good horses is very important.
On this trip down memory lane, it's not all the good stuff. There's the painful stuff too, the ones that got away. And we're going to look at 2017 and the Ladbrokes Trophy and Whisper, who finished second that day.
Yeah, I used to really enjoy riding this horse because he had an unusual technique of jumping a fence. And Nicky Anderson used to give me huge confidence when I was riding him. But as you see there, you had to just plant your hands down and don't move and just leave it entirely up to himself. He just had a very funny way of jumping. But
they're about sixth in the blue and white.
I had a lovely position the whole way, and it wasn't actually really the riding of it as such. We were more unlucky that his run before this was in Kempton in a 2-horse race that Nicky always runs his Hennessy horse or his Ladbroke Trophy horse in. And they never got a penalty because it was within a certain time of the entries. But this was the first year that they did get a penalty. And Nicky didn't realise that happened. So he'd got a penalty in Kempton.
What was that, £4 penalty? Was it all £2? £2 maybe, wasn't it?
I think it was £2, but I do think that it just might have made a difference of him winning and losing.
And there he is, settled. You're happy with him at this point?
Oh,
just
very
settled in the
happy.
middle?
Like, Nicky had him in such brilliant form. I used to love riding for him. I used to love riding for Di. They just left it up to me. We got on great. I used to really enjoy riding this horse. Again, good pace, as you can see. There's, we're 5-6 horses wide in front, and they're going a good gallop.
And he's tanking as well, travelling
really
so well.
Really travelled. He was doing exactly what you want in the race. He was settled, but I could put him anywhere. You know what I mean? I could have went forward, I could have went back, I could have done whatever I wanted on him. He really was in the zone on the day.
So we're getting towards the business end of the race. There's still a fair few in with a chance here, but you're going ominously well at this point.
I'm cantering, but the only worry is
so is Total Recall.
The horse in behind me is cantering as well.
And how aware of him were you at this point? I mean, you've pulled your goggles down, so you can definitely see him.
Oh yeah, but I was going to delay my challenge anyway, and I knew he was there, and I was just waiting and waiting. Depending on what way he jumped over the last couple of fences, but he was very good. As you see there, he kind of dropped his backside a bit early. But he's going better than me there, and so I had to keep squeezing along up to keep in touch with him. But when I go for Whisper, he really found, and he really jumped over the last couple of fences. Down to the last again.
You can feel him coming.
I can feel him coming, and my horses after giving me everything and may have gone a fraction too soon, but I couldn't feel I could have waited much longer.
Because he was hitting that, not flat spot, but
exactly.
you had to squeeze him at that point.
And then again, Paul snuck up.
And here you're desperate for the line.
I'm desperate for the line.
And he's probably idling at this point a little bit too.
I was idling. If Paul had to join me any sooner, I think I would have beaten him. I think Paul gave his horse just a marvellous ride. And my fella had just come to the end of his run. He gave me everything. The horse gave me everything. He jumped fantastic. He was in brilliant form, but it was just one that
And that feeling when you've crossed the line and you... Because
I'd rather finish 10th.
Yeah.
I'd actually rather fall at the last, to be honest.
When you came back in, and we've worked together a fair long time, not nearly 10 years, but I've never seen you look more disappointed coming in on a horse.
Yeah, I was just disappointed. I wasn't upset because, look, what could I have changed? I could have changed a number of things. Like, I didn't win the race, so I needed to change something, but I could have waited a bit longer, but he wasn't going well enough to wait.
You could have been further behind.
Yeah, but the only way what I'd change is leaving the back straight. If Paul had to commit before me, was the only way I could have beaten him. But it was just, I just felt that, I don't know, I was just disappointed. Yeah.
They say no one remembers the second.
No,
you do.
I do. Yeah, only the person that finished second.
Now we're going to go to Tiger Roll, 2018 Grand National. The probably was the biggest win of your career. And I remember seeing you at Aintree in the morning, and you weren't confident. You definitely weren't confident.
Well, I hadn't put a whole lot of thought into it because I didn't think he'd jump around. I didn't think I thought, well, he'd jump around, but he'd unseat you very fast. But I knew.
So here we are at the first.
At the first, when he got up and over the first, I was kind of happy that he knew the fences were a little bit different.
Because he was only a small horse, and that's what people.
He's small, but he's just a different way of jumping. You could just skim across. You'll see as we watch through the VT, he takes a lot of the spruce with him when he gets after the first couple of fences. But again, as credit to Gordon, he was really on song, and you kind of know when you. Especially with these fences, when you give a horse a squeeze, that they don't chicken out of it, that they actually react to your instructions. And that was St. Dart. He was the one horse that I thought wouldn't make a mistake. I had ridden him.
And he's right alongside you there for Tom Georgia.
Yeah, I'd ridden him the year before, and I got a brilliant spin off him. So I was happy enough to follow the likes of him. And we're just sailing away. We're in a lovely rhythm. He's travelling really well. I've enough room in what can often be a very congested race.
Yeah, you found quite a lot of space there. I mean, there is quite a lot of space around you considering.
But you'll see here now, what happens here is very, very interesting, and you'll have to watch the horse and watch his feet, because I had no idea this was going to happen. He just ducked. He ducked left.
Like a rugby international. It's a great sidestep.
Yeah, and the most important thing is he came back underneath, so I didn't go out the side door. Like, I could have very easily went out the side door. Now, on previous years, I've ridden in the Grand National, I've been dying to get to the inside. Always trying to cut the corners down to the inside. With Tiger Roll, I wasn't too bothered. I just said, look, I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to go down the middle. And I ended up quite wide over the Finehaven fence. And even here, for me, at the canal turn, I was 3 horses wide, but I still got a lovely route around. I didn't lose too much ground, which is quite important.
So now things are beginning to hot up, and Pleasant Company's out in front, and you're just moving that bit closer.
Yeah, getting that a little bit closer, and still in a little bit of a pocket. So Keith is on my inside, Johnny Burke is on my outside, Brian Hughes is in front of me, and David Mullins is down the inside.
And good horses around you as well. There's not like rags. It's they're the good horses with you.
Yeah, but I'm going the best of the lot.
And you knew that then?
I did. The only thing for me, and the beauty of Tiger Roll, was his speed, the way he jumps these fences. He's so quick through the air. And here now, I want to delay my challenge for as long as I possibly can. So I'm going so easy. I'm still not thinking about winning the race. I'm not thinking about anything, only just my own horse, controlling him. And then, again, we've such a long run to the next jump. And I feel once we turn this bend here that he just kind of loses a little bit of interest. And I have to kind of set him alight a little bit earlier.
Because you could have gone on then. You could have easily gone on.
Oh, easy, yeah. But you couldn't. I just couldn't. You had to wait. I had to wait. And I knew Blessed Wings was behind me and Annabella Fly was coming on my outside. But my biggest danger was beside me. And then he makes a mistake there. I wasn't brilliant at the second last. But he made a worse mistake than me. And I kind of had to play my cards without going for everything. And again, down to the last, spotted a real long one and so fast through the air. Like, I mean, rocket fast through the air. And he lands and he goes and he runs. And I still have loads of horse here, but I just feel that I'd like him to give me a little bit more. I'd like a little bit more from him. And
do you feel him idling at this point?
Oh, from here on in, this guy is just looking at the water jump. And I honestly feel I know what happened to Devon Locke, because...
Were you shouting at him, or were you just...
I was just... The crowd was roaring. He was looking at the water. He was slowing down. He thought the race was over. And then, bang, David Mullins just...
And did you think you'd been nutted?
I didn't know. And again, the same with the Gold Cup. I had no idea where the line was. But what I did feel was I was going to be lucky if I was going to hold on, because he came by me so quick. Like, he was just, the full length of his horse was gone by me. It was like I was standing still. It's like you're standing at a traffic lights and the cars are whizzing by. He just whizzed by me at the line. And I was just praying that my guy's nose was in front of the
And you're
line.
waiting for that number to be called.
Oh my God. And everybody is telling me,
You've won.
you've won, you're definitely up.
Which is the worst thing. Yeah.
It is, and I don't want to fall into the trap of thinking I've won
And you haven't.
for the disappointment where I had, because again, to feel you had won the Grand National and for it to be taken away from you, that would be devastating, you know. So I wasn't going to fall into that trap. So what I basically done is I just emptied my mind. I didn't think I won it. I didn't think I lost it. All I wanted to do was look after Tiger Roll, keep him moving, open up his girts and let him get his breath back.
And you poured some water over him from there.
Yeah, throw a bucket of water over him, and then I realised I didn't know what number I was. So I had to look down at my number to see, so that when they'd call it out. Now, to say, when they said my number 13, Tiger Roll, there was a weight. I could have floated. I really could have floated. I don't know what it's like. It must be like the final whistle in a Champions League or a Rugby World Cup, but that's the feeling that what sport is about. It's about what winning is about. It's that feeling that everybody searches for.
And the celebration. I remember at the time some of the press guys saying, "What's Davy's celebration?" The fingers to the air. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I got it from a movie. It's a cowboy movie, and a guy lost his best friend, and he was just, that was his, when he'd stay on the bull for 8 seconds, he was kind of riding for his friend. And when I was younger, I had a very good friend, and I adored him really. He was older than me, and he was becoming a successful jockey, and I just felt that, you know, if you were ever, the closest place to heaven is either at the top of the hill at Cheltenham or after riding the Grand National winner. So it was just, you're nearly able to touch them, you know. It was an amazing feeling. And Mam had passed away a couple of weeks beforehand, and you know, it was just, I don't know, it was a very special day. Yeah.
Tiger Roll again. Pressure off, is that fair to say, or not really?
Yeah, pretty much. He was favourite, and everybody were raving about him winning it. But for some reason, it never clicked with me that he could win a second one. Gordon decided to put the blinkers on him this year because of what happened to him close on last year, late on last year, and then just. He got very worked up this year. He got a bit excited beforehand. He wasn't that inclined to go and join the rest of the horses. And Dennis O'Regan, who was riding another horse of Gordon's, came over and grabbed a hold of him at the start and just reassured him that everything was okay. He ran a little bit quick down over the first couple and got a bit low over the third, whereas
It probably wasn't as good the first three the second time round.
No, he was better the first time.
Yeah,
but
you'd expect to be the other way around.
No, because he was so used to the fences. I'm telling
complacency.
You, he just knew what he could or he couldn't do. He just, around here and coming to Beechers, he raced really quick. We went really quick down over the first couple, but he kind of started getting a little bit lazy with me coming here and around, and I suffered with him the whole way around the canal turn until I faced up to Valentine's Brook, which is the first after the canal turn, and I just said I needed a little bit more from him. I needed to get a little bit more response from him, and then I was sorry I did, because I hit him a little tip down the shoulder, and when I did, he just came alive underneath me, and I mean, he started to run with me. And just at the canal turn, I brought him back here at Valentine's, and I just had to hit him a slap down the shoulder. But Jesus, when I hit him a slap, he just came alive and he started motoring with me then. And then I was afraid that he was doing too much, you know. So there's a kind of a happy medium to how much effort you ask for that early in a race. Tiger, as you can see, is just running in my hands. I'm lifting my hands up off his wither to slow him down a little bit. And he's going so fast over the fences that he's kind of losing his legs at the back of it, and he's skimming along on the ground. But it's only him would be able to do it. But
were you conscious of Magic of Light had done a fair bit too?
She was keen going to the chair the first time, but at the same time I was just more concentrating on my own lad than anybody else. I had Rat Finden in the back of my head that when I did pass him that I might not just be done with him yet.
You got him very close there, didn't he?
Yeah, he got in close, but Tiger
was clever.
He could just do that. He can just bull out through a fence and he winged the last. Paddy got in close, and when I landed then, pretty much the same as the year before, he just landed and went.
And deja vu again of thinking, are you thinking here, do I hit the front or do I just go?
No, well, I can't really wait on him because if I slow him down, I'm just encouraging the others to get another run at him. But I did feel that with the blinkers on, that he was going to get to the line an awful lot better. And I was aware that, I'd plenty left in the tank. He absolutely bolted up now. There was such a thing in a Grand National. He really did travel and gallop galloped down to every fence and just galloped out through the line. The blinkers helped him, I think.
And the feeling this time, you've definitely won.
Oh, I've definitely won, and I'm just wondering, you get up in the morning, you go to Aintree and you win the Grand National.
Yeah, it's easy. The race that you struggled to win.
Oh, for so long.
How many goes did you have before?
Oh, 15 or 16 goes. A lot of falls, a lot of pulled up. Got a bit close. The 2 previous years to the first year I won it, I kind of had travelled really well on one and didn't travel that well at all on the other and flew home to finish 3rd on St. Dar. So I was getting closer, but to finally get out over the line, and I don't know, it felt like, and could you imagine my children, April, just go to Aintree and win the Grand National.
Yeah, it's easy.
It was easy, whereas since I was that height, I dreamt about it. I watched the movies, Bob Champion's movie. I watched National Velvet. I've grown up about all them, watching them movies about this magical race, and I've just won the last 2 renewals of it. It was just really was unbelievable. I was able to enjoy it a little bit more. I was aware of what was ahead of me.
Right, Davey. Now we're going to go to a ride that you've chosen that you'd like to have again, and it's the ride on Delta Work in the 2019 RSA at the Cheltenham Festival. Here he is in the Gigglesdown colours. Yeah,
it started off great. On the outside, a bit of light down to the first. There was no huge panic on. My main danger was on my inside, top of the game, and Harry Cobden.
Is that Santini in front of you? I think it was it Santini?
Santini, yeah. It was a good race. It was a good race. There was plenty of good horses in it, but I did feel that I was riding the best horse. He settled well. He was jumping well. Top of the game, he just got in underneath the second, and top of the game went by me exactly where I wanted him.
So you wanted to be on the outside? Is that?
Yeah, a little bit of room. A little bit of room on the outside. And just get into a nice rhythm, really. But he ran a little bit down the hill here with me, and he started to jump great. He got a little bit keen after jumping the 3rd fence. Things just didn't go the way I had planned them to go. The ground was quite cut up, so a lot of the horses were going wide. We were trying to find a bit of fresher ground. There was a lot of rain over that period, and the ground got pretty cut up. But again, at this point now, I'm quite happy. Everything is
he's jumping, he's settled.
Yeah, but you'll see when we go down the hill, again, he just gets keen on me. This is the position I wanted to be in, so I'm very happy. I wanted to be behind and I wanted to follow up for top of the game. But again, he just got keen with me, and I ended up in front of Harry, where I wanted to be challenging him from behind. And they're the difference. They're the difference of winning and losing for me. If I had my time back, I would have waited, and I would definitely have followed him. And I thought if I followed him, I would have beaten him.
So the race is beginning to develop now, and here you are.
Yeah. So Harry is playing my game. He's following.
He's read your script.
Yeah. And again, didn't jump brilliantly, like, you know, just missed fences. I just couldn't get into a nice rhythm with him. And I wanted to be where Harry was.
And there's nothing you can do about it at this point.
I can't. Look, he's gone. He's run keen with me. It's a championship race, and as I said in the past, they usually go a good gallop pretty much every day in Cheltenham, and you have to ride the race you're given then from there on in.
And are you feeling uneasy now, or is that something you can look back on and say?
No, I was aware at the time that I was in the wrong position. I would have loved to be in behind horses here and following down the hill. When I go and ask for an effort, there's not as much there as what should have been there if he had to settle that bit better, you know.
And he's got a bit squeezed there too.
Yeah, I just got bullied out of it a little bit and things like that, you know. If I had my time over again, I'd have a funny feeling I would have made up that couple of lengths.
And did you beat yourself up about it that night?
No, sure.
Do you move on or
move on? I'm not sure what I won on that year. I won on something anyway. But you move on. You just move on. That's it.
Now we go on to one of your unluckiest ones, or the one that you labelled your unluckiest, which was Tiger's last roll in the cross country chase, where you didn't really follow the script.
No, we actually felt going out that he had no chance because the ground had got so bad. But when we got out there, the ground on the cross country course wasn't that bad.
Because they can't water there ever, can they?
No, they can't water it. And he actually travelled and jumped, and everything was going according to plan, which we didn't think was going to happen. He went so well. He jumped his usual self. He really, really enjoyed himself. He was jumping fantastic. The whole race, like, it was just copybook stuff. You know, he couldn't have been going any easier. He had everything cooked. He was bossing the whole race. He jumped so well. Like he had without doubt the perfect trip for his last outing. It was just ideal. I was just so impressed by him and surprised by him how well he travelled. And as you can see here, like, we're heading out, he's just lobbing away and underneath me. He's his usual self. Like the first Grand National, really relaxed and enjoying himself and jumping from fence to fence.
With Delta Work with you?
Yeah, Delta Work was there the whole way, and as it progresses, you see, like, Tiger goes to put the race to bed. And
do you talk to Jack at all during the race or not?
Not so much. If you were in a bit of a pocket and Jack was the only person to help you out, you might say.
But you're conscious it's him next to you.
Oh yeah, I know it's him. Yeah. You're pretty conscious of all the horses around you, you know, bar the ones that are out the back as such, you know.
So the fairy tale ending is close now. It's, you know, we're getting towards the end, and he's jumping well, and he's been followed by Delta Work.
Yeah, but I'm going way better than him, and like, his jumping is the key to him. That when he jumps really well, that's when you know he's on song. And again, leaving the cross country course behind us, I'm cantering and I'm coming out onto the main track, and I just know he just gets sucked up by the ground. Like, he goes from really enjoying himself,
because it is pouring rain at the same time. It's literally pouring.
Yeah, and still, like, even at this point, he has the race at his mercy. Only from here on in, the ground just sucks every bit of energy out of him. Like, there's no doubt about it. But if the ground was the same on the outside as it was on the inside, I'd be gone. Oh, I'd be gone 5 and clear and no catching him, really. And again, at the back of the last, the ground just see there, it's just taking every bit of energy out.
And he's given everything as well.
Oh, everything. He always does.
Yeah.
He always does. He always did. I just felt that it was one race that we were really unlucky that
the ground has just gone against you.
Yeah.
Because it would have been the fairy tale ending.
Oh, I wouldn't mind the reception. Oh my God, it was the first time I heard a horse getting booed for winning a race. And on
the walkway they were booing.
Yeah, they were booing him. But
and that was the first time I've never seen two horses come into the winners enclosure before.
I wasn't smiling about
No,
it.
you
Like,
weren't smiling. I was going to say there was
no,
definitely no smile.
no. I would have been. It would have been different if I was right. If it was the other way around. Now I would have thought it was the best idea of all time. But
And did Jack say anything to you? Did he ever say sorry or?
oh God, no, no. He'd nothing to be sorry about.
He'd spoiled the party.
Oh yeah.
So we come to the last, quite literally the last Grade 1. This was Irish Point on the Saturday at Aintree, having had Grade 1 success the day before on Jerry Colombe. Here you are on Irish Point.
Yeah, I had a bit of a soft spot for him. I'd won a maiden hurdle on him in Cork, and I really liked him, and I thought he was one horse. You know, it was early in the season. I thought he was one horse that would fulfill into a Grade 1 horse, and then obviously Jack took over the ride. He'd run well in the Lawlers. He'd run well in other Grade 1s. He actually ran well at the Dublin Racing Festival, coming back after a layoff into what was a very good Grade 1 in Leopardstown, and so I rode him in Leopardstown and I rode him in Mallow the day he won his maiden hurdle. But I just felt that I really liked the horse. I just had this, for some reason, I had a soft spot for him. But obviously I had retired and Jack had taken over the mount on him. And Jordan actually won. I rode him in the Lawlers. He finished second. I think that was the day Jack broke his leg. And then I came back from retirement.
Well, this was important because this was the right end, because Cheltenham hadn't been the right end, and part of coming back was to finish on the note that could have been at Cheltenham was the wrong way to finish it.
Yeah, as the Dublin Racing Festival was good to me, it was also bad to me because I had broken wings off my vertebrae. A simple fall, and just a horse kicked me at the back of the last. I got a fall, very simple fall, and a horse coming on behind kicked me. So it was touch and go whether I get to Cheltenham. Then I got to Cheltenham, and then the combined days at Cheltenham together, I just wasn't able to finish it off. And you know, maybe I did or I didn't ride to the best of my ability, but I didn't ride a winner there.
Well, we spoke. I remember we spoke when you were in the car on the way back from that Cheltenham.
Yeah.
And you were at the point of chucking your boots out the side of the car. You were done.
Oh, I was done. I was finished. Done. Yeah, and the only reason I came back was ESDAILE. My wife said, you know, you can't. But the opportunity was there for me to ride an Aintree, and I said, look, I don't really want to ride an Aintree. And if I had to go through Aintree and not ride a winner, then you know, it was, you know, you'd been searching to get one. And then Ian Ammond, Gordon's one of Gordon's main men rang me. He said, look, come up and school the horses, go to Aintree, ride a couple of Grade 1 winners and sail out into the sunset. And Busty had made it so simple, so I said I would. And it was probably the best ending I could have hoped for, really.
So here we're coming down to the second last. Bags of confidence.
Oh, full of horse. I'm full of horse. I'm just delaying my challenge. Okay, I'm getting down on him there now and just squeeze him up. And that feeling that when you are full of horse and you give him a squeeze and there's loads left in the tank and down, winged the last really quick and just kept him up to his work down the straight. And just to get that another Grade 1 really crowned the few days and made it all worthwhile, really.
And I remember the scenes in the paddock afterwards, and I remember you calling me over, and Gordon saying, "It ends now."
Yeah.
He said, "Do you remember?" He said, "Go and tell ITV, go and get it announced," and then he can't. There's no U-turn.
Yeah,
there's no way back.
Yeah,
because you were prepared to disappear, and then it was announced on the course and announced on ITV.
Yeah,
and that was the end of a career. Although there was one more ride to come, there was a bumper ride.
No, I actually rode in Grand National.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, of course it was.
Yeah, he fell at the first, but that wasn't much good.
Yeah, Galvin.
And then I rode a lovely horse in the bumper that I bought for a very good friend of mine, and so it was nice. I was a bit unfortunate in the bumper. I ran into a bit of traffic problems, but he still ran a nice race, and he justified being there. And it was just a lovely way to finish up. To be honest, I finished my riding career and started a new career, you know, or new connections, you know.
And it was right to have made that decision to come back and finish on your terms with those Grade 1 winners.
Oh yeah, look, you know, people have tried to make up their mind about me over the years. You know, when I broke my neck out, they were all telling me I was silly to come back, but really at the end of the day, I don't know how to do anything else. I was just, and I was really successful on it. And my career was, people were very good to me over the years, and I really enjoyed every moment of it. I loved riding horses. I still love riding horses to this day, and it's just a marvelous sport to be involved in. And I got the opportunity to ride some very, very good horses. And you know, when you get them opportunities, you have to take them. And I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he was saying, you know, when you look back now that you're retired, do you think we were crazy to do what we done? And I said, no, I would do it all over again. I really would. I loved every moment of it. I loved being a jockey. I loved being, as I said, as a child, I looked over the railing wondering how can I get in there? And once I was in there, I wasn't coming back out. You know, I just really enjoyed being a jockey and being a sportsman and being a professional. I love being an amateur. I just love riding horses.